Welcome to NRL 360 Rugby League from every angle, brought to you by Ford Everest. Joining me again, the great Gordon Tallis. Let's bring the journos in, Buzz Rothfield and Brent Reid. And the finals race heats up with the Roosters smashing the Dolphins, Gordy. What about this?
Yeah, absolutely. What a game it was. Both sides fighting to stay in the top 8. The Roosters are on a run, aren't they? They're very good. So obviously, and I'd put the Warriors in this as well. So Warriors are on 30, so I reckon they'd be in this pool as well. And I think they've all pulled their whip and jostling for some, maybe still for the top 4, but certainly top 8.
Mate, I think that most intriguing thing's the battle for eighth position. You got the Dolphins, Roosters, and Manly. It's going to go down to the wire. That I'm a little bit worried about the Seagulls because they've got to win an extra game than the two above them, in that their for and against is really, really bad. Manly, however, have the best draw of the lot of them, so it's going to be interesting to see how it pans out.
I'm with Gordy. I'd throw the Warriors in that mix for the 8 because I think they've hit a wall. They've got a lot of injuries at the moment in key positions as well, and they're battling a bit, the Warriors. They've got a couple of games at home, but even that's not a guarantee at the moment for them.
What about the Roosters, Rudy? They're going all right? Yeah. They have a chance of making the top 8. Sam Walker's playing well too.
Mate, Sammy Walker, how good is this kid? What a player.
Yeah.
Wouldn't know he had a knee reconstruction, would you?
Should they rest him? Or?
Well, Braith, as you know, I said if they were out of finals contention, and as I've said numerous times, Trent Robinson coaching his socks off, and he's got him in the mix. Yeah. So, mate, he's done a great job. This was I couldn't believe this. I was actually out, came back, got a text message halfway through the game and someone told me the score. I couldn't believe it. Yeah. Because the Dolphins have been playing well. Really, this was an unbelievable performance.
How good's their game this weekend going to be against the Bulldogs?
Yes.
2 wins they had last week. That Nawanga Tawisi, did I get it right?
No, close. You weren't even close.
Nawanga Tawase. Can you say Cord? That 11 hits you. So don't bad me.
You're a chod.
Yes. Anyway, Marky Mark is going to be a big story in November because he does not want to extend right now. The Roosters want him to. Yep. And I went to the ARU about this over the weekend. They would desperately want him back for the World Cup in 2 years. So he's got another year after this. He's going to be a big story.
Surprised you didn't ask me who's going to win out of the Roosters and Bulldogs. So
the
Broncos travelled down to Melbourne with the intent of breaking their shocking record against the Storm, but it all came crashing down in the 21st minute.
Let's get it underway. Round 23, live here on Fox League. Hunt with the ball, out the back, Carrigan, then for Mam, intercept, Coates with the ball, got away from Mam, catch me if you can, Stags can't, now Mariner gets a crack, so will Cobbo, this is simply amazing! Oh, Adam Reynolds in the meantime is limping off. What's going on here? Mam is also wounded for Brisbane. They're 6 and they're 7 in the one play.
Crazy, to be honest. I mean, I've never experienced that. Look, I just spoke to the three of them. Yeah, we'd have to go and get our scans and go through the process of the severity of them. But yeah, they're all 3 hamstrings, which is quite strange because the boys are pretty measured about what they do with the players throughout the week.
21 minutes gone, sensation here, and not of a good kind for Brisbane. Hit those bells, Munster out the Wishart, stumble away from Shibasaki. Wishart scores for the Storm. They attack, back it out to Dubby. Sound the alarm. He plays the back down footy, right over the bat. Out the Coates, they may have stopped him or not. Munster, he'll keep looking for Coates. Here we go. Oh, too good. Save your Coates. It's double movement at the line, and then it is a mid-air tackle. It's a penalty try, and they will get the shot in front. It ends up a night of high drama and cost for Brisbane. Full time, Melbourne 22, Brisbane 2.
That was the turning point, thanks to Ashley and Martin Medical Hair Centres. 3 hamstring injuries. It was incredible scenes, almost at the same time. They continued to fight hard, the Broncos, and they didn't go down without a fight. But where do they sit with these injuries? Do we know how long these players will be out for, and what sort of impact do we think this is going to have on their season?
Well, we told Reynolds it's 3 to 4 weeks, Rudy.
Yep.
And we told Ezra and Selwyn Cobbo at 5 to 6 weeks. They're a little bit bigger grades in the hamstrings. So Mate, it leaves me in all sorts, doesn't it? Because,
Yeah, I mean,
well, they're gone for the top 4, aren't they?
I would have thought so. I mean, I think this loss just about...
They don't have the hardest run. They've got the Dolphins, the Knights and the Cowboys in the next 3 games.
Yeah, but Penrith are going so good.
Yeah, that's the last one.
That's the issue for them, right? So, look, they've got depth to come in. Ben Hunt's obviously there. Billy Walters can play in the halves. They've got the depth to cover for them, but... Reynolds and Mam, such good footballers. Whilst you might have a couple of blokes to fill in there, it hurts you in other areas. So,
well, it's a bit of a luxury. So if you have Ben Hunt coming back in, what is he, 300-game halfback, you think that he can fit in that slot. He's been there all year. Billy Walters can do a job.
He's been great,
in a number
Billy
6.
Walters.
Yeah. So
the problem is, Gordy, Billy's been so good coming off the bench for them.
Yeah.
And you lose that punch off the bench, so they get Corey Pakes
There's
maybe.
a Kobe Black playing in the Queensland Cup, so they got that young kid that played on and on. So they got enough talent there, Brisbane, you would think, to get the job done over the next month.
Now, Buzz,
Yes.
The spew
3
buckets.
hamstring injuries. You've mentioned.
Well, I've never
you know,
seen that in a game
I know you want to have
for
your
the one team. Oh, no, I don't particularly want to raise it, but you're asking me to. So you've put it on the run sheet. So I will...
Hang on.
No, you put it on the
Just
run sheet.
carry on. Don't dig a hole here.
What I said at the start of the year when I saw vomit buckets at training, I heard...
The vomit buckets are back.
No, and when I heard players were blowing up about how hard Madge was training them, I said there is always a danger that they will start the season like a rocket, but it's a 27-round Origin finals campaign. Now, hamstring injuries, if you talk to any physio, any doctor, come from fatigue and they come from training overload. So not necessarily fatigue in games, but...
But Madge addressed that. He didn't even get asked the question. He said that he managed their week.
Well, Madge said that they had a light week last week.
Yeah.
Madge and
But
Tomo.
what I'm talking about,
said that light week last week.
Reedy, what I'm
That's like a
talking
kid coming
about
out, I
is
said,
a
I didn't
load
do it.
over a very long period of time.
This
and
is
it can...
just, Buzz, this is
Oh,
just...
it's just unlucky, isn't
This
it?
is just
So I'm
dumb.
wrong.
This is dumb luck. Seriously, this is...
What do you mean dumb
Losing
luck?
2 blokes in one
Explain
play
dumb
like
luck.
that. Well, it's just unfortunate. It's unlucky. I mean, Adam's 30. What's Adam? 34, 35. You know, I'm sure they're managing his workload all year, and he has been prone to the odd
look,
injury
I
recently.
agree
From
with you.
experience, too, hamstrings do go on you as you get
Yes.
older. As you get older.
Yeah, look, I think that's definitely...
Mate, he's... Mate, Braith did the City of the Circus.
he's
He's running
running.
up
Yeah,
Take my
Hill.
hamstring at the moment. So.
Mate, he might have been running at Red Hill.
Yeah, Heartbreak Hill.
I mean, Madge has been around. Like he's surrounded by cutting-edge sports science people, conditioners, trainers. If those blokes were overloaded, he would be getting that information. And I'm sure Madge would be responding to that. I mean,
Reedy.
as I said, that light week last week.
I can't
Devil's
see
advocate,
short
right?
week. Yeah.
Why then, right? So I sat and watched the press conference. He brought up their load without even getting asked
Because
the
he
question.
probably knew you blokes would bring it up on this show on Monday night.
I reckon he did.
Probably
Like I did.
He probably
General
knew Buzz would write about spew buckets and,
No.
and army camps.
Look, I can live... The Reynolds...
Don't worry me.
Reynolds' body has been a question mark for a couple of years, hasn't it? And these soft tissue injuries that he suffers every now and then. So that is always a risk of happening. But with people like Cobbo and with people like Ezra Mam, I think it's really unusual that they went down. And I think the Broncos this week, rather than leaking to you that they've had light weeks, I honestly,
you can tell the ones who
I honestly
They
think
answer my phone calls,
I
I know
honestly
yours,
think
you
they
just
should
slag
be.
them off.
That they
I
should
wouldn't
be.
answer theirs either.
I think they should be looking into, and a deeper dive into why these are
Because they've
happening.
had 2 hamstring injuries.
No, three.
Three.
Aren't injuries
has
up
carried
across the
injuries.
board, though? Injuries are up across the board.
They're not
this
up.
year.
They're not up year on year.
They're significant across a lot of clubs, though, Buzz.
Injuries is a big story in rugby league, and the welfare of players in 27 rounds.
But
And
you
the
talk
fact
about
that
sports science, right? And you make some really good, valid points. How many hamstrings go? Like that? They were sort of like a thing of the past, like hamstrings.
The game's
Like
so-
very rarely. Well, that's why they're in the game.
Don't you think it's a result, Gordy? The game's so fast. There's 6 agains. The game's so
Definitely a
fast.
result.
But,
Definitely.
All in players
what I'm
more.
saying is the other clubs don't have 3 hammies a game.
Souths have had so many injuries this year, it's not funny.
Yeah, but-
multiple calf problems. Latrell, Cody.
Yeah, but a lot of those were training too.
Yeah, but that's
A lot of those were training. I'll tell you something interesting about the workload on NRL players, because I looked this up. An NRL player, average, will travel 7 to 8 kilometres a game. That's a lot of distance. You know, in the NFL, it shows how tough rugby league is. The average NRL player will cover 1 to 1.5 kilometres.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So we talk about, mate, our athletes are just astronomically tough with the fatigue, with
the collision on the end of it.
Yeah.
Getting
up and down.
I'll give you a prime
and the
example.
quick play the balls. It's all about the football and the time in play.
Was Harry Grant missed a month with a hamstring problem earlier this year?
Yeah.
Are we saying that's overload or training in Melbourne?
Did the
reckon Melbourne
halfback
train
and winger
hard?
go down with him?
Do you reckon Melbourne train
Well, I
hard?
don't well, they train as hard as anyone.
Yeah, I know that.
But I reckon that's not because
the
of
point.
overload.
That's the point.
So it's okay for them to train hard, but not Brisbane. Is
You
that
know
what
we're
saying?
sitting here talking about it because it's a genuine discussion. It's a genuine discussion, the way Mads trains that football side. It is.
Mate, I don't think he trains them any differently to Melbourne or anyone
All
else.
right, now, I know you mentioned it, a few of you guys mentioned before who could possibly come in. Have we got any solid information as to who will take the spots of Ezra Mam and...
Yeah, well, it looks like it'll be Billy Walters and Ben Hunt, Praith. So they're the logical guys. But, Gordy mentioned Kobe Black. He's floating around, young under. He was the
What about
Queensland
Anthony
under 19. Anthony Milford.
You know,
This is
Blake sent
special.
me a text.
Is he still playing?
He's playing for the Broncos feeder club, South. He's going all right. So if he was to come back, that's the 10 years on, their 2015 grand final scrum base.
story.
But I can't see Milford coming back. I think he's had his run the
All right, you
NRL.
said how long they were out. So realistically, they're hoping for Adam Reynolds to be back for first week of the finals?
Finals, yeah.
And then the other two hoping second week of the finals. Is that what the...
I think they
The
were
goal
talking
is?
around the grand final if they can get that far.
Okay, so it's
that's
actually a
probably
grand
more
final.
like- Yeah.
So how does this impact them then? Like, we've kind of touched on it, but do we think that their season's done or...
Well, I mean, Braith, I don't think they're going to make the top four, and I think it's impossible for anyone to win it from outside the top four. So you'd have to say the season's probably done, yeah.
And they're paying the penalty for that mid-year slump, which, you know, we were talking harbour cruise and all that stuff. no, we were.
talking
We were.
Hold on.
Fort Denison.
So the
You're
overload.
like a rat with a gold tooth tonight.
So you've got them for training too hard and overloading, but you're also bagging it for harbour cruises.
Will you let me finish?
They had food on that boat too.
But
No, all I was saying is the last 2 weeks, you know, was when they had to start getting momentum, and they haven't been able to.
like I've been saying, they had to come through the origin period, and that's really tough. And history shows the Broncos going through, but they can't use injuries as an excuse because they didn't use them last year.
Yeah.
And they had more last year than they had this year.
Yeah.
So really, if you're taking that, don't lose credibility, brother. Don't pick up the phone.
All right, the Melbourne Storm put the competition on notice with another strong performance. After that win against Parramatta, no Jerome Hughes, they went to another level, although Brisbane did have those injuries in key positions, but they looked pretty good, didn't they?
They had to work for it, Braith. I thought Brisbane were really good in the opening 15-20 in this game, but Harry Grant's just in a rare vein of form at the moment. He was outstanding. Yeah. And, you know, they've got blokes like Nelson potentially to come back into this team.
You mentioned Harry Grant.
Yeah.
Are they looking to lock him down? Because I heard they were. Yeah. Why hasn't it been done yet, and how close are they, if they are?
I think they're pretty close, Braith. I think they want to knock him off one at a time. Obviously, they got Jerome done. I think they're pretty close with Harry. I think they're always confident they get a deal done with Harry before the final series, and I think that's still on track. So I think that's pretty close.
Geez, he'd be earning a quid because I reckon on form he's in the top 3 or 4 players in the competition. Yeah. And it's incredible, Storm, that they had, 12, 13 years of Cam Smith. Yeah. And you think you've got to struggle after a legendary figure like him retires and for Grant just to come in.
Great recruitment, isn't it, really?
Outstanding.
And they were ready to be beaten, Melbourne. So you think without Jerome...
Didn't you think the first 15 or 20 Brisbane were right in that game?
Yeah, but like then, if you're ever going to beat them, that's probably the chance for Brisbane for where Melbourne are, but they got the job done without their number 7.
They sure did. It was a must-win game for the Roosters on Saturday, and with so much on the line, chaos erupted at Suncorp Stadium.
We bring you to Suncorp Stadium as the Dolphins take on the Roosters in a game that will help decide the makeup of the top 8.
Oh, boy, Molo is absolutely flattened Wanganitawasi.
What about this? Oh, Savannah kicking out for Wanganitawasi. Billy Smith, was he hit high there? Yes, he was. The Roosters resented the contact. Oh boy, and then Spencer Leniu comes in. You need to be careful, Spence.
Not going to tolerate boys coming together the whole time.
Jared Sutton has got his hands full here. This could get explosive.
Well, it means so much this game.
Tedesco is there. Toye now keeps it going. Wonga Nitawasi.
Oh, hold on, things have sparked up. Here was, it's on for young and old.
They have come from all parts here.
Spencer and Orblick start it. Then I've got Nafahu who comes in and really escalates it.
This could be 12 on 11 or 11 on 11.
Just watch here at the bottom of your screen.
Leniu coming across says, let's go. Oh, that's ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous behaviour by Spencer Leniu.
Spencer,
Yeah, here we go, he's having none of it.
go.
The Roosters lose to Nafahu White and Spencer Leniu.
So Tafa's gone too. Now Molo's going to go, so both sides down to 11. Can you believe it?
Well, I just don't understand the Simbinnies, to be honest with you. Two guys come over pushing and shoving and shaping up. I don't know how blokes are supposed to do.
And look at this! Siwa Wong has been knocked out cold.
Boy, what about this?
This is old school. Walker gives it to Leniu. Straight through them. Nobody can stop him. Spencer Leniu sits up to Walker. Now he wants a long ball. Looks infield instead. Goes home. He fooled everybody. He's an absolute rugby league savant. Sam Walker. But what a game in Suncorp tonight. The Roosters have taken down the Dolphins 64 points to 12.
That was the moment of the round, thanks to Ford, and the Sydney Roosters were outstanding against the Dolphins. But are they contenders or are they pretenders?
Oh, look, I think the Roosters are going all right. Like, I really do. I think with their young halves, the way they're going, with Teddy playing the way he has, it was going to be a big hole with Jared and the guys that they've lost. I think it's been a great season with the Roosters, and they've got some momentum at the right time of the year.
We all thought it was going to be a rebuild year,
Absolutely.
didn't we? And I have no doubt whatsoever, if Sam Walker had been there all year, they'd be knocking on the door for top 4, not top 8. He has made such a difference, that football side, and he's $1 million player if ever I've seen one, Sammy. I think he's on about 900 this year,
so, yeah.
goes up to $1 million next year, and what a player.
Yeah. What do you think, Reedy?
Well, it surprised me, I'll be honest with you.
No shit.
I don't know if I don't think they're contenders. I think
What for the?
to win the comp. I don't think they're going to win the comp. I mean, I think, as I said
Do you
before,
think the top 4 sides, if they get in there and they're healthy, do you think they're worried about them?
I think they're worried about them,
Yeah.
but I still think that Penrith, now I think about it, their record against Penrith and Melbourne the last 5-10 years has been awful.
Horrible.
So they've got that to overcome, and they've got to overcome it from outside the top 4, and that's I think that's insurmountable. But they've done. As I said, Robbo's done a ridiculously good job with this
It's
team.
a great job.
All right, Christian Wolf, he wasn't happy with the sin bins. What did you guys think?
I thought it was all fair enough. You know, I love a stink on a footy field.
That was what he was like with me on the sideline.
Yeah.
Yeah, mate, why didn't you put your dukes up? 1-2 down Main Street.
Look, Spencer carried on like a goose there. You just can't do that in a footy field. But there were no...
Should have all 4 been sent off, or just Spencer?
Look, it takes 2 to tango, and there were 4 people involved in activity there.
But they come involved because of 1.
Sorry?
They all
But
become
that doesn't
involved
matter.
because...
They're all
Okay.
involved.
Yep.
And going to the sin bin, I think both the Roosters, Spencer was probably responsible for the brawl, if you even call it a brawl. But I think the fair way of handling it was getting rid of 2 each. I think the fair way of
But it's
handling
not fair all the time, so the unfair way is the instigator goes off.
Wolfie's got a point, though. I mean, Spencer's come in shaping up to those guys. What are they supposed to do? How are
I
they supposed
agree.
to
Like,
react?
I looked at the footage a lot today, and the Dolphins players were guilty, right, of being involved and escalating it, and or he threw a punch, as well. But I would have been okay if they just said, Spencer, get off a 10, because he did instigate it from nowhere and went out of his way to instigate it, and I don't think it was probably fair for the Dolphins to lose 2 players just because they reacted. I don't know. That's my take.
I think Jared Sutton had to get the sting out of that game because it was going to explode. It did explode behind the post.
How
after
good was
the
it, by
try.
that first 20?
I loved it. I put a poll up. The punters loved it, and
Put a poll up.
yeah, I did because it's the old fashioned.
No, mate, it was great.
Oh,
Hey,
what was your poll?
what did you think of the brawl? Question one, answer one, loved it. Question two, didn't
What
like
was your
it.
percentage?
87%.
Wow.
Loved it.
Bring back the
No
biff.
pie charts. All right.
And he's running the show, not you.
Okay, Donahue, Buzz, while I've got you.
Yeah.
Should he have been charged for the shot on Wong?
Well, I compare it to the Jack Whiten tackle, okay, up at Gosford a couple of weeks ago. Jack Whiten made a careless tackle, probably led with his shoulder, resulted in a head clash, knocked an opponent out. Donahue here made a similar careless action, in my view, going into the tackle and the way he did, because of the way he went in, wasn't a classic NRL tackle. He
It was fun on
contacted.
there.
I think it's very.
Hey?
I think it was very different to Whiten's, in my opinion, Buzz.
How was it different?
Well, Whiten come from outside.
You don't think it was careless?
He jammed, didn't get his hands up. I don't think it was careless or reckless. It was. He had intent. See, that's coming from the side of the
Yeah,
shoulder.
but he's knocked the player out with his head because of the way he went into the tackle.
he also got
the
bumped.
game
He
can't
got-
allow players to go in carelessly and knock other opponents out with their head.
Buzz, Donahue also got bumped by a teammate trying to make that
I don't know.
tackle.
How's
I'm not
but
suggesting-
Show me where it's careless.
Just the manner in which he went in there.
He went
It's
straight.
careless
He just
in
went
the
straight
fact-
ahead with two players next to him.
I actually thought he stood his ground. Personally, Buzz, I thought he was right in front of him, chest on chest, stood his ground. Jack Whiten, and I didn't
the
really have a
match
big
review
problem.
committee
I
agree
didn't
with you
have a big
guys.
problem with Jack, right? And I
Well,
thought he was
4 weeks,
unfortunate.
and
but
this is another careless
saw
tackle
him
and no
differently.
charge.
Yeah, I see him
I
differently
was
too.
happy for him to get fined. I just
I
think
thought he
if
should
you're
have
going
got
to...
charged for this. I'm surprised he didn't get
Well, there
charged
you
for
go.
that.
People would agree
But
with you,
not to the
Buzz.
extent of
I'm
Jack
just giving you
Whiten.
my opinion. People would agree with you.
I think the Whiten one's worse than that. But I am surprised he didn't get a charge for
Yeah.
that.
All
You
right.
can't say that's not a careless tackling action going in.
We cannot suspend
Like
everybody
that.
for accidents that happen in our game, and
But,
I think that's an accident.
but the onus is on the defender.
Yeah, but
Yes, I agree.
What could he have done different?
What could he have done different?
Yeah.
Gone lower.
Gone lower.
Yeah, he's gone.
He didn't attack the head.
No, he didn't attack the head at all.
All right, anyway, that's interesting. Walker and Savala, they were great on the weekend. DCE's was poor. The DCE issue now, I know we've spoken about it a lot, but it's getting bigger because his form is dropping by the game, and Savala was outstanding on the weekend. The Roosters have found form, and it is a little bit concerning now. Like they've got him coming in for Savala and Sandon moving on most likely.
Or coming in for Sam Walker and playing number 7.
Well, he won't.
Potentially, no, he won't.
No, DCE.
Are they getting itchy feet? The Roosters, would they make the same? And I'm
Look,
going to keep on asking until it's confirmed.
When DCE in
And they
round
announced
3 or round 4 announced he was leaving Manly, the Roosters had needs which they, saw
Yep.
at that stage.
Everybody saw
for an experienced halfback to come in and help this rebuilding club in a manner in which Cooper Cronk did so successfully. As it's turned out, it hasn't played out that way. And Walker's got the best short kicking game in the comp. Hugo Savala's got a long distance kick. They combine beautifully. I don't know if a contract's actually been signed.
I was about to say,
mate.
has DCE signed?
If he has signed anything, his contract has not been registered
With the NRL.
With the NRL,
So they can get out.
which leaves the Roosters. Well, they've got to pay Daly Cherry Evans whatever they promised him,
What?
because they've got an
If he
agreement
doesn't play
with
for
him.
them.
No, they've got an agreement with him.
Right.
Okay.
If he signed,
Yes.
but they just haven't registered it.
Yeah, it
they
hasn't.
still have to pay
So
him.
what it means, if they paid him now on the side and said, "Come here and join Robbo's coaching staff," or do some other
Well,
work
that's an
for us.
expensive coach.
No,
He could have been coaching Perth.
it might be for 3 years, right?
Right.
What I'm saying, it then doesn't affect the Roosters' salary cap because the contract hasn't been registered.
Can I say, look, I've been very critical of DCE in the way this has unfolded this year, but I've got a bit of sympathy for him for the weekend because he's playing behind a pack that was stripped of all their middles, Ethan Strange gave him a bath. That was pretty clear, right?
His defence was poor.
Yeah, his defence was really poor, but he was playing behind a team that just struggled on. Was it Friday night? It was Friday night, right?
They were out of the gates.
A couple of weeks ago, we were rapping the way they played and the way he played a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah, but they've been around all year, mate. They've been good 1 week, ordinary the next 2 or 3.
But I think, with due respect to Hugo Savala, Daly Cherry-Evans is a better player than him. Right now, at this point in their career, I know Hugo's had a great year, and man, Hugo's going to be a really good footballer for a long time. But right now, if you tell me, do you want Sam Walker and Daly Cherry-Evans as your halves, or Sam Walker and Hugo Savala?
Reedy, I've said that, so I've been on that same page.
Yeah.
But every week that goes on, I start going, oh, hang on. You know, as the year's gone on, his form's dropped. Next year's another year
He's
older.
played a lot of footy, right?
Yeah.
And Father Time catches up with everybody, even up Heartbreak Hill.
The one thing Sam Walker needs help with the Roosters, if they're going to win another title and become a regular top 4 club, I think, is his game management, you know, in those really tight matches. Yeah. Because he's so adventurous in every single... And it's a great style, and I love watching the sort of rugby league. But when it gets to the Cooper Cronk position of winning those big games with clutch moments, I think DCE...
Yeah, well, if it gets to the end of the year and DCE doesn't think he's good enough anymore, what little I know of Daly is he'll probably retire. He probably won't want to go out next year and embarrass himself and end his career on that note. So Daly knows better than anyone whether he's able to handle it next year.
And
I think he'll make the right
It's going to be
and
tough...
more importantly, I don't know how the other clubs, if you sign a contract to play, they can go, oh, sorry, you can just be on the coaching staff now.
But they haven't registered the contract, Gordy.
So that means that it's not
well,
there.
There's a difference. There's a difference.
Yeah, but isn't there
The thing that worries me about DCE going to
how many coaches?
I know what a tight group they got at the moment. Hugo Savala, born bred, Clavelli, played there all his life. They don't have that many local juniors outside of him and Victor Radley, and I think it might upset the mechanism of the...
Before we move on to the next thing, so are they going to upgrade and extend Hugo or not? Because I think if they don't, they may lose him, right?
No, well, what his manager Steve Gillis originally said was he might look for a loan deal.
Okay.
If Cherry-Evans comes, Newcastle need a half.
But they won't let him go because Sandon Smith will leave.
Yeah.
I think
he's going to the Cowboys.
That's down the track, Sandon Smith. So they're not going to let Hugo Savala leave. They're going to need him because they won't have Sandon Smith there as depth.
All right, Jake suffers his third concussion. Well, this was a bad one, Papali'i. Wow. So will this impact his contract extension?
You know, towards the end of their careers, Boyd Cordner and Jake Friend were getting knocked out, and they weren't massive knocks. Remember, they got, you know, very susceptible.
Wade Graham was
that's a big collision.
Yeah, that's
and Wade Graham. Jake's have been big collisions, but when you get 3 Category 1s in the space of, a dozen weeks? In the season, it's a major concern at 31 years of age.
Is there a chance of him having the rest of the year off?
I think he should.
I believe he was with the medical staff today, Gordy. He was still feeling the effects of the concussion. They haven't made a decision
I'll ask you
yet.
this question then. If that's your son, do you want him to have the rest of the year off?
Probably, yeah.
Should they re-sign him?
It's a really good question.
I don't think... No, they shouldn't extend him right now. I mean, there's got to be question marks over whether he goes again next year, given the concussions he's had. And I'm sure Jake would want to go on, but sometimes you've got to save blokes from themselves. And he's had, as you noted, some pretty serious concussions this year. And he's got some thinking to do. That club's got some thinking to do. And look, they'll do the right thing by him. And no matter what happens, he'll be involved in that footy club. But you know, he's got to make a decision about
whatever happens. Manly got to manage Jake Turbo's end a lot better than they did the Cherry-Evans one that split the club. And Jake should be a lifetime pass at Manly, do whatever job he wants. He's bled for that club, our state, our country.
I agree.
And
Now the South Sydney Rabbitohs, Latrell Mitchell returned and he was fantastic against the Gold Coast Titans. But and they got the win, of course, and may avoid the wooden spoon, but everyone's talking about that penalty on Jaden Campbell that wasn't given, and the NRL have admitted that they got it wrong.
Yeah, look, I want to give Preston Campbell a rap here because Jaden Campbell, I say Preston every week, Jaden Campbell a rap in that every other player nearly in this competition would have laid down they would have looked at the video, the bunker, seen it's high, gone into Golden Point with a goal in front.
They wouldn't have got a penalty for
We
it, Buzz.
saw the way
How do you
Talon
know
was
they
silver.
wouldn't?
Because the NRL
So
said...
you can judge. So just
Hold
because
on.
they
The
say
NRL
that,
said today he would not have got a penalty for that.
yeah, but
Because
that's,
because there's not a chargeable
the NRL
offence.
is inside the bunker.
Yes.
Getting hit in the head, we've seen less than that a penalty.
No, but it's got to
No,
be
it's
charged.
got to be a
No, it
chargeable
doesn't
offence.
have to be
Yes, it
charged.
does.
Yeah, it
It
does.
has to be a reportable offence,
Reportable
which
offence.
is a big
That's
difference.
not reported.
That's not a
That-
reportable
I've
offence.
seen incidents
No,
like
that's not
that
reportable.
before.
No.
I've seen incidents like that put on report. The crackdown early in the year, right?
But we're not in the crackdown.
Yeah,
anymore.
well,
That was even the high shot. I didn't
let's
look
give
at
him a rap.
No, he
Yeah,
deserves
no,
a rap.
he
No,
deserves
I'm
a
not taking
rap.
away
No,
that.
you're
So the
spot
way
on,
the
Buzz, with
Parramatta
that.
game finished.
But we're saying that it has to be a reportable
Yeah.
offence.
The bunker would not have given the penalty for
Yeah,
that.
but
Yeah, but
So
I said to Laurie Daly on radio this morning, I said, Laurie, if that was your New South Wales halfback with a minute to go, the scores are level, he got hit high, doesn't matter how hard, and he didn't stay down, you'd be blowing up. And he admitted he would be.
Yeah.
Yeah, well,
That's the
No,
way...
no. That's the way rugby league's supposed to be played.
Yeah, but I'm just
the
telling you
end
what
of the
Laurie
game.
said.
No, for fans, the way the Parramatta Cowboys game finished is worse than that. And you know what? We lost, but the Titans lost it. But I'm actually happy that Jaden stood up because that's the way rugby
Yes.
league should be played.
And you know
But what
Cody?
if it cost Desi his
Well,
job? What if it
They wouldn't
cost
have got
you
a
the
penalty
Winston?
anyway, Buzz. The issue is at
Yeah,
the
but
moment.
no,
you know what? The only way, I'll tell you the only way you're going to fix this is not an NRL issue. Players staying down, taking
Yeah,
guys
but
and
you're never
feigning
gonna-
injuries. This is
you're never
players
gonna eradicate
and
that.
coaches.
But
They
you-
need to be shamed into getting in their
But
thing.
you keep saying the
Some
NRL...
of those incidents in the Parramatta game were disgraceful.
You keep
disgraceful.
saying the NRL said it wasn't a penalty. Now the NRL have sat round.
So they didn't admit they got it wrong. I got that wrong. They said it was 50-50 call. Could have went either way.
So the NRL sit around there all day for an hour in a management meeting. They said, "Oh, it's 50-50, right?" Now you go to the bunker when there's pressure on, knowing this is a match to term. I reckon it would be.
Okay,
a
well, there's no
penalty.
And the
let's
Titans
just say
should be
there's no
dirty. Phillips
guarantee
Army
we're
got
not
knocked out the
different
week
scenarios.
before.
The Titans have had a
Phillips
tough
Army
run.
got hit in the head and this. So it's disappointing. I had a bigger problem. I called the game for Triple M. When the trainer stood on, it took us 15 minutes to get back the momentum, right? There's a shot clock of 30 seconds. Yeah. And the trainer runs on
that when
and
Joy Arrow was
stays there for a minute. So he took it out of the player's hands. So if a player does it, it's a penalty, right? So we put a little kick in here, right? So it's 30 seconds, right? And it took us ages to get the momentum because Latrell was having a game. And this kicks over a minute and they go, so this trainer runs on and finds him. Just kept on walking around until he found him. The crowd started booing. I have a problem with that. So there's a trainer coming in again. Now, what about this? That's a minute. That's the thing that I have a problem
Richie's
with.
broken the story online, the Telegraph. There's going to be a major end-of-season review into the role of trainers on a rugby league field.
Alfie
It's
Lang had
long
ruled it
overdue,
for everybody.
mate. It's
All
long
right, stick
overdue.
around, journos. Plenty more to come. And tomorrow from 6:45 p.m, the Aussies take on South Africa in the second T20 International. And the only place to watch it is on Fox Cricket. Welcome back. Let's take a look at the nominees for our Sportsbet Player of the Round. And Blaze Talangi has been in great form for the Panthers with 3 try assists. Ethan Strange got a hat-trick. How good was he? And James Tedesco, Mr. Consistent, arguably the best player this year and up for the Dally M. But Ethan Strange, I mean, we know how good of a player he is. We've talked him up all year. But even after the game, Ricky Stewart, he said he should be on the Kangaroos tour at the end of the year.
Yeah, well, you got Munster, you got Dearden, you got Cleary at half. Mitchell Moses might come in, but I don't care. I'd take him.
Yeah.
And the other guy I'd take too is Matt Burton because he can cover anywhere. But
Well, you got
I
six
would
halves.
take that. Sorry?
Six
no, well,
halves.
Burton can cover centre, 5'8", lock, edge. But this kid here is very, very special. We all talk about Lachlan Galvin. We all talk about the young halfback at the Dolphins. I think this kid is the standout teenager in our competition.
History shows they always took one of those young kids. You know, they'd sort of have a burst-out season. I remember in '94, I think they took Wendell Saylor and Steve Menzies, and they were young. They were 20 or 21, so don't have a
I
problem
don't think
with
I've
it.
seen him play a bad game. Like honestly, since he's played, like that, like he's been ultra consistent and getting better.
tough, isn't he?
Tough,
I
good
don't know if
defender, tough, good runner. takes the line on.
I don't know.
Sydney Roosters Junior, mate, from your old club.
I don't know if he deserves to jump
Bulldogs.
Munster.
Yeah.
I don't know if he deserves to jump Munster, Cleary, Dean, and Moses.
No,
I think
but
those
what
guys
I'm-
are all ahead of
But
him.
just take
If
him,
he
though,
goes, he goes as a
experience.
utility or he's played
If the
centre.
Raiders go
He came in
all the way
first
to the
grade,
grand
maybe he goes
final
as a
and they're
centre.
in form, it's going to be probably
Yeah,
because
well,
of
there's always
people like
the grand final winners always get a few players in there, don't they? So
But isn't it funny, we talk about the Pacific and the power and the Haas's and the Tino seeking of leaving it, and then we got too many halves.
Yeah.
That's probably their weak.
Not enough forwards, though.
Yeah, true. True.
Yeah. What about the Raiders? Minor premiership up for grabs, and Sticky. The players, I've heard the players talk about it. They want to win it. It's something that they've spoken about, and they're charging towards it. They're going really good, aren't they?
Well, you think back to Vegas, and they were outstanding over in Vegas, but you're just waiting for them to fall all year. I think most pundits have. They're a real chance of winning the comp.
yeah.
Real chance.
Yeah, they're resilient, aren't they? Too. I mean, they concede the first try in this game and turn around and blow Manly away. They've got so much speed and so many weapons, and their forward pack is tough. It's uncompromising. They've just got all the pieces are in place.
Yeah.
But
It reminds you a bit of the '89 Raiders, right? Laurie and all those guys were young. You didn't really know too much about them.
it's got a touch of the fairy tale about it too.
Yeah,
Gordy,
right.
don't you think?
And then obviously the only thing that they would be lacking in big games is experience, right?
Yeah, but the
Papali'i.
thing is, and I wanted to make this point, Gibson used to call them bookends. He's two front rowers.
Well,
And they've
two
got
of the better ones.
Papali'i and they've got Tarpany, and those two just crush teams. They're really
Are
good.
they premiership favourites?
No, Melbourne are.
Really?
Yeah, I think Melbourne entitled to be favourites.
Who do you think of?
Huh?
Favourites?
Oh, at this point, yeah, you'd have to say Canberra. Melbourne are far behind them. I like Canberra. I just like the way they're playing. I like the style in which they're playing, and they've been consistent all year. And I think there's an element of doubt there because of the lack of experience in big games, and that's what gives Melbourne the favouritism. But if you're going off form and consistency and performances all year, I'm thinking they are.
It's so funny you say that because they don't seem to be worried
They're
about
not phased.
I think that's a bit overblown, the lack of big match experience. There's a lot of guys in that team that have played finals, played Origin. I think they've got some experience in finals in particular.
All right, thanks, Journos. Great work.
Yeah, good on you, mate.
Great as always on a Monday, Buzz and Reedy. Up next, it's Heavy Hitters with Michael Cheika, and tomorrow from 6:45 p.m, it's the second T20 International between Australia and South Africa, exclusively live to Fox Cricket.
Nails it! Bowen!
He is on fire.
Oh, that's big.
What a take.
Do not go anywhere.
Welcome back. Now it's time for Heavy Hitters with Michael Cheika. Check, thanks for coming on. It's an honour to have you on. Wallabies coach. You coach the Lebanon Rugby League team. You've been successful on and off the footy pitch. But my first question, R360, what is it and what's going on with it?
Well, as soon as they started to look to poach a few leagueies that had been made use, Look, I think that rugby sort of seems to be a bit rife for a bit of a revolution. The players that are in this particular, I suppose, iteration of it, they're coming in a slightly different way. I don't think they've got a big broadcaster with them or everything. I think they're trying to build the comp and then take it to someone else. So a lot of it's conditional work at the moment. Look, I think the idea, the concept of something new is right. I think it's there for the opportunity. Whether these guys can pull it off, not 100% sure, because I'd like to see something a bit more solid, broadcaster, that type of momentum behind it as well, like when all the Rebel comps beforehand, whether it's Super League, World Series cricket, even rugby when it went pro. But look, I think it rustle the feathers, not too bad.
Just quickly, do you think it's a direct threat to rugby league, like a genuine concern, or?
No, I don't think. When we talk about as a league itself, no, sure, some players might go, but leagues. Like, I know I'm on a league show here, but league's quite powerful in Australia, definitely at the moment, and it's got a huge economy inside of the game. So even to compete with that economy, like the wages or the salaries that some of the top players are getting, you really have to go above and beyond if you can push yourself.
You're known for your rugby, career. Talk us through your background in league. Do you have a background with rugby league?
Yeah, I went to a league school, same as Brad. Went to Marcellin. Yeah, we were brought up there where we played league, so I would have played league on Thursdays with the school, then maybe Sunday as well, and union on a Saturday sometimes if we got the chance to. I think I could have the reputation of being the first player to get sent off in the Commonwealth Bank Cup. I'm not really sure if that's good or not. But yeah, we went through all that and then, you know, played state titles, all those types of things. And when the opportunity came, I always lived in Coogee. And mate, I genuinely thought, Randwick Rugby was down the road. I could get a free trip overseas if I play rugby. Yeah. Generally what I thought, you know. I went and crossed over, and that's what happened. I played in France for many years, in Italy for many years. I had a few opportunities to go back to league. I got an offer from the Bulldogs once, from the Dragons, way back when. But it was a great life back there. You could play footy, union overseas for 7 months, play back here for 5. Yeah, lived a good life.
That's extraordinary. You've got a diverse career. How did you get into coaching, and what made you get into coaching?
Mate, I think, well, look, when rugby went pro, I was working, right? I worked for a fashion designer, believe it or not, you know, as a business manager there. And I didn't really want to go pro. It was weird. So what happened was, all of a sudden, a lot of senior players went to Super Rugby, Brumbies, Waratahs, whatever. And at my club, I was left as the senior man, you know. So I never really thought about coaching ever. It was just all on field, all being sort of a captain of a team, whatever. And then from there, same sort of story. I got a call one day from David Campese. He said his club in Italy that he played for was looking for a coach. And I thought, you know, sounds like a good holiday, you know, northern Italy, why not?
Oh, it sounds great.
Went over there and just started, and I really enjoyed it. And that was 99 and haven't stopped since.
You had a bit of a stint at the Roosters and Lebanon. Is there much difference between both codes when you're coaching?
Oh, well, definitely there's the technical differences, without a doubt.
Scrummaging, line-outs.
Well, even the way you construct training. So, obviously, there's a lot more time dedicated to the complications of set pieces in rugby. League's got different focus points. I suppose when I went to spend time with Robbo, and also I was lucky because I had Kingy and also Craig Fitzgibbon there, learning more about the left and right-sided nature of the game, where we're a lot more flowing in rugby. The importance of last plays, you know, the defensive system as well, which is very different with the, you know, compared to the union defensive system. But the same concepts are there, mate. The ruck speed is definitely something you want, or if you're on the defensive slide, slowing down the ruck. So I got a really good education there because excellent coaches, you know, you learn so much from people who are learned and they're able to get their point across to players.
What did you learn from Trent Robinson?
Yeah, I think some of the things I was saying there, I think realistically about what's important in the game. You know, there's some things that you have to do, you have to get through, but where are the real winning parts? Where's the bit where success is won? Also a fair bit in the defensive side on the wrestle, the tackles, a lot of which we took some traits over to rugby and modified, obviously, because we wouldn't wrestle as much on the ground, but definitely in the air to try to slow up the ruck with the ball on the ground, you know, the tackle contest with the ball off the ground. So learn a lot from Craig Fitz in there as well.
What about the media coverage between both? You're on the show now.
Yeah, mate.
Do you find it different?
No, as far as criticism's concerned, mate, I'm a huge auto-critic. So I've asked myself all the questions before any media gets to me, even at a presser after the game. If we've lost the game or it's gone bad or something's happened or I haven't done something right, the first person I'm across is myself. Because if I ask myself all those hard questions, any question anyone else asks me, you know, I've answered it. Not to mention the fact that most of these things, when you're talking straight after a game or in a presser during the week or whatever, the first people you're addressing are your players because they're listening, right? So you want to get in their heads as well as then your fans and all of that and create that whole feel of club of where you're at any given time. But yeah, sure, there's a lot of, me personally, I don't mind it at all, you know, I think it comes and goes, but I can see how the build-up can affect some people, yeah.
What's next for Michael Cheika? You know, you have shown interest in rugby league and coaching rugby league in the past. Is that still a goal of yours?
Yeah, definitely. I think, mate, the challenge of being a head coach to cross over to league, it's only been done by Alan Jones, didn't really go super successfully for him. It was a long time ago. Yeah. A lot of the league coaches come to rugby and they're quite successful. I've had David Kidwell with me, you know, for the last few years, different at Argentina and then up at Leicester. So I think that challenge, especially being an Aussie kid where league is so, you know, prominent, the challenge to cross over and be successful, not just do it that way, is something that really appeals to me. It's pretty clear for me rugby's not an opportunity here in Australia, you know, because those positions are filled. And then also, you know, on the other side of that, possible. The World Cup experiences in rugby are all unbelievable. So another a team that can go to the World Cup and try and compete. You know, I've lost a final, lost a semi. It'd be lovely to get one of those. But I think in the short term, I'd like to focus on having the discussions with league and see if that's a genuine possibility.
Well, there could be a few jobs, you never know.
Yeah.
Like there are a few.
We've got a merry-go-round.
We've got a few.
Just jump on it.
If it did, like, genuine, if it pops up, you're ready to take it on.
Mate, of course. But the thing is about, one of the big things I've learned is about, having in any for consistent success, the alignment, from the owners, the CEO or chairman, whoever, then the CEO, the coach, the captain. You can have the Blues in the background. You can fight, as long as we're all fighting for the same destination, And that alignment's super important.
So you wouldn't just go anywhere?
No, I think it's not even that, mate. It's not about my choice, really, because I'm an outsider. It comes from someone who would believe that the set of skills that I have is exactly what they... So you line up with them straight away. And then you line up with the person underneath. For me, as far as confidence is concerned in doing it, I have no doubt that I can, get in there and get competitive straight away and do what it takes, because the managing of people it's the same. Whether I'm in business, in rugby, in league, in whatever it is, they're trying to get the best out of people, to get the players to fulfil their potential, go further than they think they can. That's all the same, no matter what the game is.
You said, your set of skills, what are they? Is that it, just bringing people together? You think you can bring the 30 together?
No, look, I think I've got that's been my thing all the time, because I've been in turnarounds a lot of the time. Teams that maybe haven't been performing and need a turnaround. I've always sort of entered into teams from that perspective, whether it was Leinster when I first went to Ireland, Waratahs, even Australia. The coach left all of a sudden, hadn't been going well, so it needed to turn around. Argentina, another one for me, and even the most recent position I did. So obviously being able to create an identity inside of the team, give a really clear direction about, okay, this is where we're going and this is how we're going to get there. Start getting people believing in themselves. Then, of course, there's the technical element as well and the strategical element inside of games. But, that goes without saying that you'll have not only the own skills that I have, but also the selecting of your staff in whether it's rugby or league, is so important, because you're almost trying to make one super coach with the complementary nature of every coach that you've got on your staff.
Well, Michael, congratulations on all of your success. You're an impressive human being. Good luck with the next coaching job, although I don't think you need it. And again, thanks for coming on.
Thanks for having me.
All right, up next, we reveal our player of the round, and following us, it's the latest edition of Matty and Crom.
The match winner going to be? Well, it's certainly entering Planet Field goal now. Last tackle play. They put themselves out near the touchline. Papali to Moses. He'll get a shot. Mitchell Moses on its way. Look at the fans go up. The blue and gold had it locked in. The moment it came off the boots. Parramatta in front by 1.
That's a great strike from Moses. Back towards that left post and hit an arrow straight.
Parramatta fans at the northern end, from the moment it left the boot, they were booting it home.
Welcome back. That was Mitchell Moses making his mark thanks to Steel Blue, and our Sportsbet player performance of the round is Canberra Raiders young gun Ethan Strange with 47% of the vote. What a game it was by him. That's it for NRL 360.